Broadcasting live from the blighted cataract on the plain of Zendikar, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome to a new and different episode of Tap Tap Concede. We're trying something special this week. Not that this will be common either, but this is myself and James and Cameron.
Hello.
What up?
And we're going to draft, because we realized we really want to talk about Battle for Zendikar, but we really haven't played it.
Until
So
now.
we're going to record this draft and talk through it. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, we will do our best to explain what's going on, but if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see what we're doing.
Attention listeners only of the show, we did not open an expedition.
Yeah.
Nope.
We're all bummed about it.
But
we did open a From Beyond,
which is quite good.
Yeah.
So 3 and a green for a devoid enchantment, and I'll let Graham read the rest of that, because I can't.
At the beginning of your upkeep, you get a 1/1 Scion, so it's very similar to the Awakening Zone from original Rise of the Eldrazi. But, this time they're 1/1, so it costs 1 more. But it also has for 1 and a green and sacrifice it, you get to search your library for an Eldrazi card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So it gives you a late game stuff to do.
I like that card a lot.
This pack also has a Blighted Woodland, which I love for the landfall. I talked about that in the pre-release episode. It's got an Ondu Rising, a Taraju Warcaller, which
Super good.
might actually, like, this could be a first pick also. Taraju Warcaller is the 2/1 for 5 that when it or another ally enters the battlefield, your whole team gets +2/+2.
That card's super good.
Like, do we take that or
No, I think
From
we still
Beyond's
take.
sweet.
Yeah, I still think we
Yeah.
take From Beyond.
There's also a Swell of Growth, Tightening Coils, Silent Skimmer, Natural Connection. I know that probably don't know what these cards do, but here we are. All right, pick 2, pardon me. There's a Grip of Desolation, which is the 4/black devoid, exile target creature and land at instant speed, which seems strong. I'll flag that. Retreat to Coral Helm, the blue retreat. It's not my favorite retreat.
No.
There's the Turn Against, the instant speed Act of Treason for 5, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
It feels good when you get someone with that. And red-green, like Landfall ramp, is definitely a thing. We already know we want to play this From Beyond. Bone Splinters, sack a creature, kill something. Brute Hunter Worms is a 4/3. There's a couple of the spell lands, like Looming Spires, Mortuary Mire. There's a Ruin Processor, a big 7/8 for 7, that you can process a card to gain 5 life. Sludge Crawler. I don't know. I think it's between one of the uncommons. I think the Grip of Desolation or the Turn Against. What do you guys think?
I kind of like Turn Against.
Yeah, it's a bit easier to cast.
At 4 and a red rather than 4 black.
Yeah.
And I know that red-green's a thing. I don't know what green-black is in this format right now.
It could be fine. I mean,
Yeah,
green
Black has good stuff.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I know that
We'll snap
there
up
exists an archetype.
We'll snap up the Turn Against. So now we still have a bunch of uncommons to pick from. We have an Adverse Conditions, which is instant speed, 3 and a blue, tap 2 creatures. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step, and you get an Eldrazi, like a 1/1 Scion. There's a Firemantle Mage. It's a 2/2 for 2 and a red, and whenever it or another ally enters, all your creatures gain Menace, which is interesting. Forerunner of Slaughter. 3.
I'm tempted by that guy.
Yeah, the Forerunner.
Just because, he's basically a battlement.
3/2 for red-black. So 3/2 for 2, and for 1 colorless, you can give a creature haste. We've got in our colors, there's a Snapping Gnarlid, if we want to go heavy on the landfall. It's the 2/2 for 2, but landfall gets +1/+1. There's a Clutch of Currents, which is like this set's Mana War.
Yep.
Is very good. I don't know. We got 8 seconds. What do you guys want to take?
I like the Forerunner.
Okay.
I
it's
like
in
the
colors
idea of
that,
going
it's in
deep on
one
this.
extra color that we're not in. I'd probably take the Snapping Gnarlid if it were me, but whatever. We're feeling it out.
Yeah.
Retreat to Valakut is not the worst retreat, but it's still not amazing.
Yeah.
We opened. There's a Void Attendant, which is a 2/3 for 3. It's a processor. But this is a processor you can pay at any time rather than when you cast it.
Yes.
And it's for 1 and a green, you process, and then you get a Scion. That's pretty good.
Yep.
We might want to grab that. Boiling Earth, 1 and a red, you deal 1 to all of their creatures. You can awaken for 6 and a... You can awaken 4 for 6 and a red. So for 7 mana, you get a 4/4... One of your lands turns into a 4/4 and you do 1 damage to their whole board.
Seems kind of sideboardy.
The Eyeless Watcher's not terrible either. It's a 1/1 for 4, but you get 2 Scions. So it's sort of...
You get 3 power. You get 3/3 for 4.
It's a Hill Giant. basically.
Yeah.
Brood Hunter Worms, a 4/3 for 4. These are still fine. There's another Ruin processor, but I think the Void Attendant's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to need to pick up some drones.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah. Or some ways to ingest.
I do like the White Retreat.
The White Retreat's my favorite.
Yeah, it's quite good. Shame,
I mean, we're not really heading
doing
towards that
yeah.
deck. We do have there's a couple of good landfall creatures here. There's the Belligerent Whiptail for 4 mana. Sorry, for 3 and a red, it's a 4/2, and then with landfall against first strike. And there's a Territorial Baloth, which is a 4/4 for 5, which is actually like pretty all right on its own. And when you get landfall, it gets +2/+2. It becomes a 6/6.
I think I like the Baloth better than the Whiptail.
I agree.
Yes.
There's also another Clutch of Currents, the only blue card left in the pack. There's a Calastria Nightwatch, which is interesting, but we're not in the like black-white life gain deck.
No.
Reckless Cohort for ally fun times. So
I'm on board with the green card, yeah.
Oh man, speaking of the ally deck, so this pack still has a Resolute Blademaster in it,
which is that card's
Insane.
super cool.
Yeah.
Wow, what's going on here?
It's 3 red-white for a 2/2 and it's an ally, and the rally trigger is creatures you control gain double strike.
Meanwhile, the Eldrazi are vanishing.
I kind of want to take that.
Yeah, do we pivot here?
We could. I mean, we could take it just to sort of like hedge our way. Like we have 1 very good green card and 2 perfectly fine green cards that I would be happy to play. But the Resolute Blademaster is very good, and it's like a second Territorial Baloth, a natural connection.
Yeah.
There's nothing else amazing.
Yeah, maybe we should be reading the signals here.
All right, go for it. We don't know what the signals are. This is a release week, like a release weekend Swiss draft, so everyone's sort of feeling the format out, you know?
Right.
To that end, so this next pack has, I think our picks, we're looking at either the Demon's Grasp, which is a 5 mana black sorcery speed that is a creature gets -5/-5.
Man, remember when Dismember existed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or Eldrazi Devastator, which is just the 8/9 trample for 8.
Which isn't a terrible payload for our From Beyond.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of in the opposite direction of what we just picked.
Yeah, but
that's kind of going back.
We got 5 seconds.
That's fine. I like the Eldrazi.
Okay, we'll take the Eldrazi. Yeah, I mean, the Blademaster, you know, we're just sort of hedging our bets, feeling it out, because we can still run that.
That -5/-5 card, that tells you so much about how much Magic has changed.
Yeah.
Even since Dismember was a thing.
Even since we started playing.
God.
In this next pack, there's a couple green cards still. There's a Cloud Manta, which is a 3/2 flyer for 3 and a blue, which is I'm a little surprised to see that. But I think for us, I think being heavy green still works for us. I'm going to move the Blademaster over to the sideboard. And there's an Unnatural Aggression here, which is the instant speed fight card for 2 and a green. And then if their opponent's creature would die,
exile it.
then they exile it instead, which is great because we have a processor. So
yeah, I like that.
Let's do that. So in this next pack in green, there's another natural connection. There's been about 1 billion of these going around the table.
Yeah,
I like that.
Which is, so it's 2 and a green, instant. Search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, shuffle your library. So instant speed landfall for 3, which is fine. There's also a Shatter Skull Recruit, which is 3 red for a 4/4 with Menace, and it's randomly an ally.
It's not bad.
It seems pretty good. I think I want this because I feel like we can get one of the 8 other natural connections we saw going around.
All right.
And here, if we're just looking for more meat, there's a Brood Hunter Worm, which is just the 4/3 for 4.
It's either that or the red land.
The Looming Spires. So Looming Spires.
I mean, there's also just Plummet.
There is
the board.
Plummet. I mean,
Plummet for the board is not the worst.
No, it's not. But I'd be perfectly happy with a Brood Hunter Worm or Looming Spires over a sideboard card.
That's fair. I think just the Worm then in that case.
So Looming Spires. So yeah, Brood Hunter Worm. It's just a vanilla 4/3 for 3 and a green. Looming Spires. It enters tapped. It taps for red, but on the turn it enters, a creature gets +1/+1 and first strike until end of turn. So a couple very good black cards still in this pack. Well, one quite good black card and another one that I think is pretty good. There's a Geyserfield Stalker, which is a 3/2 with Menace, but with landfall it gets +2/+2. So it's a 5/4 with Menace.
Yeah.
There's also a Calastria Nightwatch. There's a Tandem Tactics. There's a Hedron Blade. So I guess we'll just take the Hedron Blade, which is 1 mana equipment, equips for 2. The creature gets +1/+1, and if it becomes blocked by a colorless creature, it gains Death Touch. So I guess we'll put that in the board for now. And we'll take this take this Boiling Earth.
Boiling Earth, yeah.
Which I think is a sideboard as well, but could be good.
I think so. Is this where we start taking full art lands?
Over a Stonehaven Medic or a Core Castigator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think this is where
the Stonehaven Medic helps the black-white life gain deck, which is going around pretty strongly, but that's fine. Dutiful Return.
No, Forest.
We'll take this cool Full Art Forest. And, that's sick.
The mountain. Yes, we'll need those.
Yeah, the Noah Bradley Mountain.
Oh, it's so good.
So
correct choice.
So the Forerunner of Slaughter is a little awkward in the 2-drop slot because it's got black.
Yeah,
but,
it seems unlikely.
Hello.
Huh.
Whip. Now, what's this do? So this is pack 2 now. We opened a green Mythic, the Green Warden of Murasa. It's a 5/4 for 4 green. Okay. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand.
Sweet.
And when Green Warden of Murasa dies, you may exile it. If you do, return target card from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah, that seems fine.
All right.
On-color Mythics are always good.
Yeah.
There are some other good cards here.
I think we'd be taking the Oran Reef Invoker or the Tunneling Geopede out of this pack otherwise.
Probably. Which aren't super exciting, but get in Mythic.
So the downside, of course, when exiling it on its way out is that you then you give yourself an exiled card for your opponent to process, but that seems like reasonable. Our next pack has a lot of colorless cards in it. The rare is a Gruesome Slaughter, which is the 6-mana sorcery until end of turn. Colorless creatures you control gain tap to deal damage equal to their power to target creature. We only have a couple colorless creatures.
Not super good right now.
And there's a Bane of Bala Ged in this pack.
Yes.
Which is backbreaking. So I think we want to take the Bane of Bala Ged.
Yes.
It's a 7/5 for 7 colorless, and when it attacks, defending player exiles 2 permanents.
Annihilator.
So
it kind of came back.
Yeah, I think we'll take that.
Yeah.
There's an Eyeless Watcher. There's a Reclaiming Vines. There's a Fertile Thicket. There's a Spawning Bed, which I would take. And I would be fine with Gruesome Slaughter. I mean, we've got all those Scions, right? Like, we've got a bunch of Scions, and they all gain ping for 1 if we cast the Gruesome Slaughter. It's a very powerful card. But I think that Bane of Bala Ged is actually just more consistently powerful because it doesn't rely on us having a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
So next pack here, in our colors, there's Infuse with the Elements, which is an instant for 3 and a green. It's a converge card. You get X +1/+1 counters on target creature, where X is the number of colors spent to cast it, and that creature gains trample this turn. It doesn't excite me. I don't think the converge cards are great, especially since we're in, broadly speaking, 2 colors. Honestly, I kind of want to take the Snapping Gnarlid.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Gnarlid.
Yep.
There's also there's a Vestige of Emrakul, which is a 3/4 trample for 3 and a red, which seems sweet. Nothing wrong with that. But we've got nothing going on turn 2.
We can probably...
I mean, this should be a slower format, but I feel like Snapping Gnarlid.
We can probably put Forerunner into the sideboard for now.
That seems reasonable, yeah. I'll put that over there for now. We'll see what happens. So there's Earthen Arms, which is... So it's 1 and a green to put 2 +1/+1 counters on something at sorcery speed. You can awaken for 7. So for 6 and a green, you get a 4/4 land. You can put the +1/+1 counters on it. You can put the +1/+1 counters on a different land. You can put it on a creature, whatever. You can sort of split that around.
Kind of unexciting.
But there's also a Stone Fury,
which
is an instant speed for 3 red. It deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control.
Yeah,
so that just
probably the card.
Domes something out. A lot of good white in this pack, actually. There's the fog that only fogs your opponent's creatures. There's the Courier Griffin, just a 2/3 flyer for 4 that gains you 2 life. There's a Smite the Monstrous, which seems like the kind of thing you want to have lying around. So yeah, there's some other good cards, but Stone Fury just seems very strong. So I feel like it's a couple green picks out of our next pack. In the uncommon region, there's a Processor Assault, which is, it's 1 and a red. As an additional cost to cast it, you have to process something of your opponent's, and then it deals 5 to a creature, but we don't have any ingest at the moment.
Yeah.
We have the Bane of Bala Ged, and that's it. And if we already have a Bane of Bala Ged, I don't think we need a
Processor
awkward removal spell. So I kind of think it's either a second Unnatural Aggression, which is just very good. That's the 2 and a green fight. Or there's a Tajuru Stalwart, which is a 0/1 for 3, but it enters with +1/+1 counters equal to the Converge. So in our deck, it's a 2/3 for 3.
I think I'd rather the fight card.
The second fight.
Yeah.
There's also a Kozilek Sentinel. It's a 1/4 for 2 that gets +1/+0 if you cast a colorless spell, and it's just like a nice little sort of wall to build up the rest of your stuff. Oh man, here's some stuff. So there's a Spawning Bed, which is the land, taps for a colorless, and for 6 and sack the land, you get 3 Scions.
Okay.
There's a Belligerent Whiptail, which we mentioned. It's 3 and a red for a 4/2, and with landfall it gets first strike. There's a Fertile Thicket, which is my probably least favorite spell land. There's a Looming Spires, which is quite good. There's also a Swell of Growth, which I think I want to be the pick. It's probably one of my favorite combat tricks of like in a while. It's 1 and a green, instant speed. Target creature gets +2/+2. Cool. And you can put a land into play.
Yep. Trigger landfall.
So instant speed landfall seems very strong. I don't know. What do you guys think? Spawning Bed, Whiptail.
Well, we kind of have to like make up our minds about.
I think it's Swell.
Landfall.
We took Swell, but yeah, okay. I think Swell was the right pick there.
Okay. On that note, then, so there's 2 landfall cards in our colors in this pack. There's the Jadi Offshoot, which is a 0/3 defender for 1, and landfall gains you a life. But more relevantly, there's a Valakut Predator, which is a 2/2 for 2 and a red, and landfall gets +2/+2.
Yeah, it's definitely that card.
So I think we'll take the Valakut Predator.
It is absolutely Predator.
There's another Tajuru Stalwart here. And if you can cast this for 3 colors,
sure.
A 3/4 for 3 is bonkers.
It's fine, yeah.
But that's not
super good,
really what we're doing.
No.
Also, there's a Fortified Rampart, which is like my favorite art in the whole set. The little Scion's like,
I want to get
Guys.
in.
Yeah, like a cat at the kitchen door.
Let me in.
There's
there's another Resolute Blade Master. Which seems very strange.
There's a
in here.
foil pretty mountain.
Ooh, it's even the correct mountain.
There's also a Sylvan Scrying.
Sure.
To search for a land put into your hand. There's another Broodhunter Worm. There's a Volcanic Upheaval, which is 3 and a red at instant speed to destroy a land.
I do know how you get around the Volcanic Upheaval.
The Volcanic Upheaval does hit awakened creatures.
It's
don't
true,
forget.
actually. But there's a foil.
I guess no one's in the Boros allies, so there's no point in taking this.
I guess not.
I don't know. 5 seconds. What should we take? Sylvan Scrying, foil land.
Sylvan Scrying. I think a card that we actually know we're going to be playing. Well, not necessarily, but that could theoretically get in the deck.
Here's that Natural Connection. I think we can pick that up now.
Yeah.
This pack has an Inspired Charge, which is the instant speed this time, +2/+1 for the whole team for 2 white. Mortuary Mire, which is really annoying to play against. When it enters the battlefield, you get to put a creature card from your graveyard on top of your library.
Yep.
I saw people with 2 color decks just playing a Mortuary Mire for just for the sort of Disentomb effect and the just random Converge bonus. This was at the pre-release, mind you, but still. There's a Voracious Null, there's a Merc Strider, but I think we'll just take the Natural Connection, see what happens. I don't think we want a second Eldrazi Devastator.
No.
Take the Reclaiming Vines
for the board. Yeah.
I think Reclaiming Vines is 2 green, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. So we'll put that in the sideboard. So do we want Sure Strike, which is a combat trick for 1 and a red instant, target creature gets +3/+0 in first strike, or the Fertile Thicket, which is when ETBs, you look at the top 5 cards of your library. If you do, you reveal a basic from among them. You put that on top of your library.
I would much rather have the Sure Strike.
Yeah. I like the Thicket in like a 4-color deck, but not a 2-color deck.
Wow, so white is just super open because this pack has an Island, a Stonehaven Medic, an Ondu Greathorn, and a Courier Griffin.
I think I'm
going to take the Courier Griffin. Because this card's actually quite good. It should not be going this late, and we don't have a lot of ways to deal with flyers. And there's a Cloud Manta, which again has flyers.
Yeah.
But there's a Kozilek Sentinel, which we honestly could run. So I think we take the Kozilek Sentinel and shore up the ground for when we cast our later stuff. And a Looming Spires, which we will take and run. And then a Full Art Plains.
All right, Expedition, here we go.
Come on, show me potato salad.
Is that an expedition?
A potato salad expedition? What does potato salad tap for? Like white mostly.
Potatoes.
Just taps for potato. Add 1 potato to your mana pool.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I supposed to do with this? Oh.
Not my problem.
No. Some cool cards here. So, ones that aren't in our colors mostly. So there's a Titan's Presence. So the rare, sorry for those listening, the rare is a Brutal Expulsion, which is 2 blue-red instant, and you get to you get to counter a spell or bounce a creature and or deal 2 damage to a creature or planeswalker. It's very cool. but I don't know. I don't think it's worth us messing around to try and splash it. I could be wrong. There's a Titan's Presence, 3 colorless mana instant. You get to reveal a colorless creature card from your hand, and if you do that, then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature. We don't have a lot of good targets for that.
No.
So I'm looking at the McKindy Slide Runner.
Yep.
1 and a red for a 2/1 trample with landfall. Honestly, we're not like the hyper-aggressive landfall deck, but that might still be really good for us. And the Ondu Champion, which is a 4/3 for 2 red with Rally, and it means that creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. 5 seconds. Balls, what are we taking?
I think the Slide Runner, the 2-drop.
I'm so sad to pass a Brutal Expulsion because it's so cool. What's this? Dust Stalker, 2 black-red.
Oh, God, yeah.
For a 5/3 with haste. At the beginning of each end step, if you control no other colorless creatures, return Dust Stalker to its owner's hand, so it keeps getting to smash in over and over again.
What?
However,
we could have had a 3rd, by the way, Blade Master.
Yeah, there's another Resolute Blade Master in this pack. There's also another Swell of Growth. There's a Valakut Invoker, which is the 2...
I think the Invoker is
the 2/3 for 2 and a red, and for 8 mana you get to deal 3 damage to target creature or player.
Or
there's also an Outnumber, which is single red mana. Outnumber deals damage to target creature equal to the number of creatures you control. And I think that's what we want to be doing. What do you think, James? I think it's Outnumber or the Invoker.
Yeah. How many actual token generators do we have? Because right now we have 11 creatures.
We've got the From Beyond, and the Void Attendant can like process stuff.
Yeah.
But I still think this is good.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we need more creatures for it, but certainly we can pick some more up.
I feel like we'll be able to get more creatures later in this pack, more likely. I think we're more likely to get more creatures than we are to get an Outnumber. So,
well, Nettle Drone is quite good.
Nettle Drone is sweet, yeah. Especially our deck has a lot of colorless stuff. Nettle Drone is the 3/1 for 2 and a red. It taps to deal 1 damage to an opponent, and then whenever you cast a colorless spell, you get to untap it. So you can like tap it, cast a colorless spell, untap it, do it again. There's a Scour from Existence if we just have 7 mana lying around and desperately need to kill something.
Yeah.
Tajuru Beastmaster is a 5/5 for 6 ally, and the Rally ability is creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. It's just kind of like a big beefer that's hard to deal with. Then there's this Murasa Ranger. It seems like it'd be cool if you have a lot of extra mana lying around, but
which we don't.
Yeah.
So.
3 and a green for 3/3, and that's it. But with landfall, when you get landfall, if you pay another 3 and a green, you can put 2 counters on it, and I don't think that's great.
I think it's what we have. Yeah,
and the Nettle Drone?
I think it's the Nettle Drone.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Speaking of colorless creatures, there's an Ulamog's Despoiler, which is a 5/5 processor for 6. When it enters the battlefield, if you process 2 cards, Ulamog's Despoiler enters with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Again, we don't really have any ingest is the problem.
No.
We can exile things with Unnatural Aggression, or maybe with Bane of Balaged. But other options in this pack is a second McKindy Slide Runner or a second Stone Fury, both of which I think are probably better than the Despoiler.
Yes.
For our deck.
I think I just like having more creatures at this point.
So just another Slide Runner?
I think so.
All right.
Unexciting, but...
also, it's lower on the curve, so we can really have a more explosive start. What's Crumble to Dust? 3 and a red. Exile target non-basic land. Search his controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that land and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. So what I'm hearing is Belligerent Whiptail.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, some good blue cards here. There's a Cloud Manta, a Clutch of Currents. There's a Dispel, which I didn't know actually was in this set. It's a nice black
cool
card.
art, though.
Yeah, Geyserfield Stalker, Calling Drone.
Yeah, I think it's Whiptail.
Whiptail seems sweet.
All right, we're up to...
Ooh, a Snapping Gnarlid. And another Outnumber? I guess I was full of crap that we wouldn't be able to get one later.
I think it's
kind of want the Gnarlid.
Gnarlid, yeah. I mean, just more creatures.
And we can lower the curve a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we can cut some of the stuff like the Sentinel and maybe the Scrying, though having Landfall now is really good. This is actually resembling my pre-release deck, although I think this is better. There's an Evolving Wilds, which is very good for sort of like 2 landfall triggers in a turn. There's a Lifespring Druid, which is good as well. It's a 2/1 for 2 and a green. Taps to add any 1 mana of any color. Giant Mantis, which is literally just a giant spider.
I didn't actually see it talked very much about, and this isn't. I think we just take the Gnarlid here.
The Lifespring Druid?
No, the Evolving Wilds. No, I didn't see many people talk about the fact, because remember months ago, there was that Evolving Wilds found on the parking lot. And when they finally spoiled the art officially, it did turn out to be the exact same. It was that one. So I think it's kind of neat.
This next pack, in our colors, there's only two options. The Vestige of Emrakul, which I've highlighted, that's the 3/4 trample for 3 and a red. The other one is a Lava Step Raider, which is a 1/2 for a single red mana that you can give +2/+0 for another 2 and a red, and that's not good. There's also a Courier Griffin, a Makindi Patrol, and a Smite the Monstrous, all in white, which is super open.
But, oh well.
Oh well. And I'm a liar, I guess, is what I'm saying, because here there's only 8 cards left in this pack, and there's another Outnumber. And a Valakut Invoker. And that's tough. I actually think we want the Outnumber now, because I feel like our deck, while we have the Bane of Bala Ged and the Devastator, that we might cut the Devastator, I think our deck is now trending cheaper. And I think we want to be able to get their low drops out of the way so we can rush in with our Slide Runners and Gnarlids and such.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I think we'll take the Outnumber.
There's also, at this point, the Invoker that first one might just wheel.
Yeah, it's true, actually. So, Ondu Champion, 4/3 for 2 red. Rally, trigger, all our creatures gain trample, or Plummet for the sideboard.
I think I like Plummet for the sideboard here, to be honest.
Over the Ondu Champion?
Yeah. I like having a way to...
But we have all these...
To counteract with their...
We have all these landfall creatures, and only 2 of them have trample naturally.
Yeah, I know, but we have just actual no way of killing... I mean, we do have ways of killing their flyers, but...
We can turn against them in Stone Fury or
Outnumber.
We have removal.
Yep. But all right. I feel like we're not going to play... There we go.
Okay, the Invoker wheeled.
Yep.
So we did indeed take the Plummet, and we got a Valakut Invoker.
Yep.
And the Tajuru Beastmaster came around.
I think it's too expensive.
It's probably too
what
expensive.
We're trying to do now. But I think take it.
Definitely. Or we could cut the Fortified Rampart, because it's really annoying for us to get past. But clearly no one at this table is in white anyway.
Yeah, no, I think you just take the green card.
All right. And
here
wow.
we just take the flyer, the white flyer.
Yeah, I guess so. This pack has a Felidar Cub, a Ghostly Sentinel, which is a 3/3 flying vigilance for 5, which is very good, and an Oracle of Dust, which is also very good. It's a 3/5 for 4 and a blue that you can process to loot. This pack just has a bunch of good stuff still in it. And
Foil Dispel?
Foil Dispel or Sick Full Art Mountain?
I think we take the Mountain, because then that we can get it in for Secret Tech.
Yeah.
And here...
I am going to cut this Rampart, actually.
Yeah. And
what?
Oh, no!
Last pick, McKindy Patrol. I'm gonna plant my flag in. That is a mistake.
Yeah, no, that's incorrect.
That
guy is
wrong.
Actually quite good.
That card is very good.
All right, so
we ended up with 28 playables in our main deck while we were building, because you can sort of build as you draft in Magic Online. So we want to go down to the usual 23, so we got to make 5 cuts, and I'm pretty okay with that. So you were thinking cut the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't do enough.
Yeah. How many
creatures do you want to cut is the question.
Not many more than I would say like 1 or 2 more. So I think we get rid of the Devastator.
Yeah. I think if we want to ramp up to a big Eldrazi, we've got the Bane of Bala Ged, we've got the Green Warden of Murasa on 6, and otherwise we just want to come out real fast.
Yeah.
If we can.
I like that creature base, which means we need to cut, unfortunately, 3 spells. That
we've got
tricky.
I would get rid of the Sylvan Scrying.
I was going to say, we've got a Sylvan Scrying,
that's not how
which is the 1 and a green sorcery to get a land put into your hand.
Yeah, that's not going to actually trigger.
And we got that and the Natural Connection, which is 2 and a green instant, get a land onto the battlefield.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, so we'll cut the Sylvan Scrying. I think our 2 worst spells are honestly the Natural Connection and the Sure Strike, because everything else is either From Beyond or removal. If we desperately want to keep natural, I think we cut Sure Strike, and then if we want to keep Natural Connection, then we have to cut another creature. Natural Connection does kind of help the landfall
and we have
tech, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures with landfall.
Yeah, I like keeping that in there.
So is there a creature that we cut? Void Attendant is a little weird, but it has some. We have 2 natural aggressions and the Bane of Balagad, so there's perhaps some ways that we could exile their cards and process them into 1/1s. And it's colorless, which means it untaps Nettle Drone. But it's maybe on the bubble.
Yeah.
There's the Valakut Invoker, which is good if we get to late game, but I feel like if this deck gets to late game, we're probably not winning anyway. But again,
no, I think
keeping it around could be good.
Yeah, no, I like having mana
maybe it's
sinks,
one of these
so.
4-drops. I like the Belligerent Whiptail. Like I like that it has first strike with landfall. Vestige of Emrakul maybe is not that exciting.
No,
though it is colorless, which helps Nettle Drone, but again, that's only like a 1-card thing. Broodhunter Worm is just a 4/3 vanilla for 4. And maybe that's worse than Vestige of Emrakul. I think I like the Shatterskull Recruit on 5 because the 4/4 Menace is just really annoying. Territorial Baloth is very good, and of course our bigger drops are.
Yeah, I think it's the Void Attendant or the Worm.
The what?
The Vestige.
Do you mean the Vestige or the Worm?
I think the
Void
Vestige
Attendant?
is weaker here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Vestige of Emrakul
Yeah.
to be cut? Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll cut the 3/4 with Trample. So we've settled on 2 McKindy Slide Runners, 2 Snapping Gnarlids, a Nettle Drone, a Valakut Invoker, a Valakut Predator, a Void Attendant, a Belligerent Whiptail, Broodhunter Worm, Shatterskull Recruit, Territorial Baloth, Green Warden of Murasa, Green Warden is one word, Bane of Balagad, 2 Outnumbers, a Swell of Growth, 2 Unnatural Aggressions, 2 Unnatural Aggressions, but 1 Natural Connection, a From Beyond, a Stone Fury, and a Turn Against. And yeah, this seems sweet. So we'll put in our Looming Spires and the 3 full art lands we ended up with. We will see what Magic Online wants for the rest of them. 7/6, which means a 10/7 red-green split. I don't know that that's correct because I want to make sure we hit the Snapping Gnarlids.
Yeah, and the green base also, like, a heavier green base means that we can play our fixing elements.
Yeah, so let's go 9/8, or do we actually want to go 9/8 the other direction? No, we don't have. We've only got 1 double green spell. We've got these 2 double reds.
Yeah, no, I like.
We have early red that we need as well.
I like 9/8 red.
Yeah, this seems good.
Yep.
All right, so for the purposes of the podcast, we're going to cut out what happens between rounds and between this and the first round. Like I said, we're trying something a little different, kind of like walking you through a whole draft, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. So we'll start round 1 right now. And here is round 1, like I said. Cam had to step away for a moment, but he'll join us again in a sec. So really feels like one of the MTGO Academy drafts now.
It does.
We won the die roll. Let's play first. This actually seems okay. I mean, the Void Attendant is a little awkward.
So opening hand is...
Oh, right. Sorry. Opening hand is 3 mountains, but a Valakut Predator, which we can cast with those 3 mountains, an Outnumber, which currently only does 1 damage, Stone Fury, the 3 red damage equal number of lands, and the Void Attendant, which is our only green card in the hand.
Yeah, this seems fine.
It's not outstanding.
It's not outstanding. And, I mean, you know, we're learning as well as you guys, so to be honest, I don't think we have a great grasp of the format, so that's what this is for.
Yeah, seems like a hand I would keep in other formats, so let's see.
I mean,
it's
got a 3-drop, and then we can kill an X1 with our Outnumber, so...
I'm bummed to not have any of the real, like, abusive landfall tricks, like the Evolving Wilds or the Blighted Woodland was my favorite from the pre-release.
Yeah.
But our opponent mulliganed to 6, and we're away to the races. Play a mountain, pass the turn back. Or pass the turn over. It's not back yet. We have yet to even pass a turn. But, yeah, our opponent mulliganed to 6, so...
With the Scry.
Oh, yes, right.
Very exciting.
Oh, must be nice. They just turned 1 to Cinderglade, the red-green land. But we get this sick Noah Bradley land because we drew another mountain, which is a little weird. But that does mean that we'll be able to get landfall on our Valakut Predator on curve, on turn 4. And we're building towards a 5 damage Stone Fury, so that's
Opponent plays an island, so...
where were you,
colors?
McKindy Slide Runner?
You son of a...
All right. Well, we're just going to play a mountain, play our Valakut Predator, hope it doesn't go horribly awry, which it did not.
Because next turn we can trigger landfall
and outnumber something for
play our
2.
guy. We could outnumber an X2. So holy moly, our opponent's
going full converge. They just played a plains. Oh, the Eldrazi Sky Spawner is so annoying. So they have a Cinderglade, an Island, and a Plains, and they play the Eldrazi Sky Spawner, which is the 2/1 with flying that comes with a 1/1 Scion.
And we drew another mountain. Now, is it worth it to kill? I guess it's... So I think it's probably...
Well, we attack first.
Yeah, I think it's just drop, trigger landfall.
I'm going to yield to that landfall trigger.
Swing for 4.
Swing for 4. Let's see what they do. They probably just chump it. They take it. That is fascinating.
Monsters. And
then
I'm
going to play the Slide Runner.
And then we get to
trigger...
We have a 1-mana shock.
Yeah.
Which is... Yep. Okay, no, not quite. I was going to say our opponent now has all 5 colors available, but they do not.
Play the Murasa Ranger, so they have a 3/3. And...
Attack?
Do we kill the Sky Spawner? Because we can't kill the Ranger until we play a 3rd creature.
No, I don't think so. I'd rather kill the... Yeah, I think I'd rather wait on the outnumber, right?
Really?
And kill the 3/3.
I mean, we have Stone Fury in hand.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think I like outnumbering it now.
Outnumber, that's fair.
Because then the Slide Runner can only trade with the Murasa Ranger.
Yep, that's fair. So
to that end, I'm going to play this Forest, and we get to
double landfall.
All this landfall.
So now we have a 4/4 and a 3/2 with trample.
And if he wants to trade the 3/2 with trample for his 3/3, then I think I'm okay with that. Alternately, we do have Stone Fury up, so we could just kill it and get in for 7. Nope. Okay, so they're going to chump our 4/4. They're going to chump our 4/4 with their 1/1 Scion, take 3 from the Slide Runner, and then I'm going to play this Void Attendant.
So what we could do here, because theoretically I could see our opponent
trying to go big on the
Ranger, which means we can get them pretty good with the Stone Fury. Although I guess
we can still get it because they only put 2 counters on it.
It means we are taking 5 this turn, though, right?
I'm okay with. I think
I'm okay with that as well. Now that I think about it,
because we get to Stone Fury for 6 next turn.
Yeah,
and we still have so our hand is Stone Fury Mountain, so we still have another mountain in hand.
Yeah, I feel like if their turn is to, if this is their turn.
Oh, if they're going all in on the Murasa Ranger.
Yeah, they're going to have a bad day.
Then I'm super okay with this.
Yeah. So now they're going to... They didn't even attack.
Didn't even attack.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now I think you play the Forest.
Yeah.
Stone Fury.
And we get in for...
a lot.
So they're going to crack their Evolving Wilds, go looking for... Is it a swamp? No, it's another forest. Okay, so perhaps they're only in 4 colors. They trigger the landfall again. Obviously, they can't
pay for it or anything.
Pay for it.
I feel like, we're in a very good position here.
They're taking we're attacking 9?
Yeah, I was going to say we're attacking for 9.
So they go to 4.
And we'll have no board presence. I feel pretty
I mean, they get to untap and play something that costs, 6.
Sure. We still have 3 creatures.
Mm-hmm. And they felt it was worthwhile to dump the mana into the Ranger there, so... Yeah, I'm just going to kill it now. Attack with all creatures.
Yep.
And our opponent is at 4.
And we still get to trigger landfall next turn.
Now, this is a Swiss draft, so win or lose, we get to play all 3 rounds. So this will be a longer than normal podcast.
Yes.
And I hope
it depends on how long the matches are, actually.
That's true.
If we're able to just... dominate like every game.
I hope it's not. And our opponent conceded, so that works. We're going to draw a couple cards here. Bane of Bala Ged, which we could have cast on curve, a natural connection, a natural aggression. So our curve was going very, very well.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to sideboarding. I don't think we saw.
We did not see anywhere near enough.
So Reclaiming Vines can destroy a land, and maybe we could take them off 1 color. But I don't think
it's worth bringing it in
because this only hits artifact enchantments or lands.
Yeah, I could see bringing it in if they have a big scary.
Like an awaken spell?
Yeah, a big awaken spell.
I can see that too. But I think we're okay here.
Especially like if they were to awaken onto like one of their multi-lands.
That'd be hilarious.
You always feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Kill your 6/6 and your 2-color mana.
What I was saying is I hope that this is... I realize for those of you who only listen to Tap Tap Concede in a purely audio form, I realize this will be different. This is certainly not like a direction we are taking the show. This is, this is just
an experiment.
It's a one-off thing. Maybe we'll do something like this once a set. Who knows? We have no idea. This is our first time doing it.
I like trying. I mean, we recently with Origins, we did Paul and myself did the we did the Pack Wars podcast, which was fun, and now we're doing this, and then who knows? Maybe for the next set we'll try something entirely different.
So I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand. It's Forest, Mountain, Snapping Gnarlid, Outnumber, Brood Hunter Worm, From Beyond, and Turn Against.
Yeah, this seems.
So we've only got a couple creatures, but we have the Snapping Gnarlid to get some early landfall beats in, and then we have From Beyond for late game and Turn Against for, hopefully, the blowouts. And Cam's back.
Hello.
Cam is back. Cam, we're already up a game.
Are you?
Yep.
Well, lucky us.
It's pretty good. Happy about it.
Our opponent is playing some sort of four-color deck.
Yeah, they've got
everything but black. Ooh.
And their 2-drop is the Oran Reef Invoker,
Which I like a lot.
We've drawn a land, and we just drew the Green Warden of Mirasa, so we're going to need a few more land over the course of the game.
Oh, there's their black, so maybe they are playing.
Wow, they got a Cinderglade and a Sunken Hollow?
Yeah.
Must be nice.
All of them.
And are they converging something? Oh, yes, they are, because they mistapped. No, they're casting a blue. Is this a Sky Spawner? Don't.
Oh, the Skyrider Elf.
Skyrider Elf. So
wow.
They have a 3/3 flyer. Yeah, so they're attacking with the Oran Reef Invoker. We're going to take 2. Go back to our turn. So this is interesting. We can't cast a second. We can't cast anything in our hand this turn.
Yeah, so we
should play the Looming Spires, which triggers landfall and its own ability. So our Gnarlid's going to be a 4/4 first strike, which is good because we're taking 5 on the crackback.
Yep.
Because we can't kill the Skyrider Elf until we get a 3rd creature and use Outnumber. So.
Which will be pretty easy once we get From Beyond.
Yeah, that is very true. So Looming Spires resolves, and then we're going to yield to this Snapping Gnarlid trigger. Always yield. And then we're going to get in for 4. So this looks like it's going to start out with a little bit of a race, but next turn we get our Brood Hunter Worm down, which will stop the Oran Reef Invoker, at least until our opponent gets to 8 mana. And there's a chance we can maybe do something stupid with the Turn Against, but who knows?
Oh, God. Turn Against after they...
I mean, there's a... Wait, and they got a Prairie Stream as well?
Wow.
Our opponent got 3 dual lands, and they are casting a Sheer Drop to destroy our tapped Snapping Gnarlid. That is unfortunate, because...
Very impressive start.
What I was considering is playing the From Beyond first, so that then we could untap, play the Brood Hunter Worm, and have 3 creatures to kill the Skyrider Elf. But that is not something we no longer have an option for, so now we just have to play Brood Hunter Worm and pass.
Yep.
So this game is definitely going the way of our opponent. We're at 13, they are at 16. We can block their 2/2 now, but they are casting something pre-combat.
Snap pre-combat.
So they have 3 of those things. Okay, so they have their own Territorial Baloth, which is the 4/4 that gains landfall to become a 6/6. There is a distinct possibility that they're only attacking with the Skyrider Elf, as we expected. There's a distinct possibility the next turn, if we draw a land, which we did not, that we would try to Turn Against, steal the Elf, and chump block the Territorial Baloth, just to kill the Elf and not take 6 damage, but we don't have that option. So
our options are limited as well.
Our options are very limited. We have Swell of Growth, so we can make the Brood Hunter Worm a 6/6 and trade with the Territorial Baloth, which is not great.
Assuming they trigger landfall.
Assuming they trigger landfall. They've only got 2 cards in hand, but that seems likely. We have an Outnumber, which only does 1 damage. We have a Belligerent Whiptail. Unfortunately, I think we just have to sort of play the Whiptail and hope they don't get landfall.
Yep. Yeah, I think that is the play.
I think that's better than keeping up Swell of Growth and hoping to trade. Could definitely do with a land, though, because we're at 10 and they have a 3/3 flyer. irrespective of their potential 6/6. And they didn't snap play a land, so it's still only a potential 6/6, but I'm worried this is going to be that Resolute Blade Master. No, this is a retreat to Emeria, so they're going to do this, and then they're going to get landfall, meaning that Territorial Baloth will be a 7/7. There it is.
Which means we should probably go to the next game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Goodness me. So the Baloth gets its own landfall trigger. It is a 6/6. Oh, they made an ally.
That's peculiar.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Well,
So then are we double blocking?
if we're double blocking, we're losing both our creatures, which seems
is unfortunate, but
bad.
chumping doesn't
Well, because we
seem...
need the creatures to deal with the Skyrider Elf. I don't think taking 9 and going to 1 is remotely a good plan.
All right. So I guess we chump with the 4/2?
This is just bad news all over.
Yeah. Like I feel like chumping with the... I mean, if we're going to chump here, we chump with the 4/2, right? Rather than the 4/3, because we're basically on the defense. So, I mean, I guess we have ways of triggering instant landfall with the Seed of Growth in our hand, but we need a land for that. So,
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's actually worth... I guess with the Seed of Growth, it's worth chumping with the 4/3 then. But
The Swell of Growth, you mean?
Yeah,
or the 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe we'll be able to do something hilarious.
I mean, yeah. So like we have a land here.
So we drew the land. So we have 5 mana. So we have turn against possibly up. Or so if they swing out, we can. If they don't trigger Retreat to Emeria's +1, we can Swell of Growth and put the land in to
eat
the Territorial Baloth and still take a bunch of damage. But yeah, maybe we do that. We also have Outnumber, so we can kill this core ally if they go for the +1 landfall trigger.
Yep, I think that's our play.
It's not great. I don't like holding on to the land because otherwise we could do turn against, but our turn against plan is steal Skyrider Elf,
Chump block
Baloth just to get the elf out of the way.
Oh wait, actually, oh no, because we wouldn't have the mana for that, and we were 1 mana short. I was gonna say if we had
steal it, outnumber.
Yeah.
So you still like holding the land?
Yeah, I think so. Oh god,
Well,
I
we
don't
passed
know.
the turn,
Yeah,
so
but I don't know.
We're facing down a heck of a board. So they're casting something pre-combat. Is this the Blade Master? They tap Boros for Brilliant Spectrum. They're going to draw 4 cards because they cast it for 4 different colors of mana, and then they will be discarding 2 cards. So they only have 2 land up. They discarded a Fertile Thicket.
But that's I was going to say they're absolutely going to be able to trigger. So let's see what they.
So they did pick the +1/+1 for the core or for the Retreat to Emeria.
So I think we cast Outnumber here, right?
Yeah. So we kill the core ally. Just we don't have to. We have 1 less creature to deal with.
Yeah.
Waiting until we get priority to do so.
Although we are just dead, are we not? If they attack with everything.
For yes, we are. So hopefully they don't attack with everything. It's a good point. It's a strong point you make there.
Yeah.
The other option would have been playing the mountain, using turn against on the Skyrider Elf, and double blocking the Baloth, which means all 3 creatures die.
Yep.
But then we still would have taken
5
from the other creatures. So
and would have had no creatures left.
Not perfect system.
Yeah. No, I think this was I still think this is the right play.
I think this is a better chance to.
Well,
do they have? Oh, they have natural connection. Oh, I see.
So they get to trigger. Okay.
So they get to do instant speed landfall, which means our Whiptail can no longer trade with the Territorial Baloth, and the core ally will live. The Baloth is going to now be a 10/10.
And everything is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
game 3.
We're just going to concede here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Well, now I kind of do want to bring in Reclaiming Vines for the possible for the Retreat to Emeria.
Yeah.
Though maybe that's wrong. I don't know.
I think I think that's fine. I think bringing that in for the retreat and just land destruction makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that White Retreat is probably it's the best. Right?
I'm
it's
positive
hands
it's the
down
best one.
Yeah.
I don't know what to cut for this though, because all of our other stuff is good.
It might just be the 7-drop.
The Bane of Balagad?
Yeah. I just feel like we're never going to get
Well,
there.
I think we would. The Void Attendant.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
2/3?
that's fair.
All right.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
All right, let's hope we get an aggressive start.
Yeah, I think we
nice.
need to be pretty picky about this opening hand.
I like this opening hand. We don't have green, which makes the Reclaiming Vine... Basically makes this a mull to 6. But we have 2 mountains. So we have Reclaiming Vines and a Unnatural Aggression, which is the fight card. But we have a Shatterskull Recruit. Again, it's a 5-mana red spell. We have a Valakut Predator, the 3-mana landfall, and a Makindi Slide Runner, the 2-mana landfall, and 2 mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this has the potential to be very quick. It has the potential to do stone nothing, but so does any hand. So I guess we give it a shot. Our opponent is deciding on their mulligan. You always got to remember about the that you get to scry now after you've chosen to keep your mulligan. It still startles me on Magic Online when you're just like, okay, I keep the mulligan, and then it goes, this is a revealed card.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa there. What's
Calm
going
down
on here? Oh, I have to scry this. Okay, I can do that. We have played a mountain. Opponent plays to you.
So I guess really quickly for anybody who's watching or listening who maybe has never even seen Magic the Gathering online, this is Magic the Gathering online.
Good point. Opponent opened with a Prairie Stream, and we drew a Forest, so we'll definitely get to trigger Makindi Slide Runner next turn and play our Predator on curve, so I'm pretty happy about that.
It is going to be the closest representation of the game of Magic in a digital space. We've talked about duels in the past. This is...
That's a good way to learn.
It's a very good way to learn. This is clearly the route you take if you want to sort of take that to the next level. Or, you know... Magic Online is a great tool for those who maybe don't have local game shops in your area. Ooh, I like drawing a land there.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so I think just
mountain
hitting in for 3 here.
Let's slam.
But it costs real money,
Predator.
and it's not, you know, it is cheaper in a sense, but I would definitely recommend checking it out if it's not something you've looked into before.
Next turn, there's a very real possibility that we get to trigger landfall and use Unnatural Aggression to just kill something by fighting it with our what will be a 4/4 Valakut Predator. Because we've now played Makindi Slide Runner on turn 2, triggered landfall, hit for 3, and played our Valakut Predator. So next turn, in the absence of our opponent doing things, we're hitting for 7. If our opponent does do stuff, there's a high chance we still get to hit for 7
Because we...
by removing one of their creatures. They have a Prairie Stream, an island, and a forest in play. And we've drawn 3 lands. So there's the Sky Spawner, which is unfortunate, because it means they have 2 creatures. So...
Man.
Now, they didn't miss a land drop because we went first.
There are parts of me that want to just blow up the
Prairie Stream?
The Prairie Stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I also kind of like using the Ruthless Aggression on the Sky Spawner just so it can't trade with the Slide Runner.
Yeah. I'm also okay with that, actually, but...
I think I like that better.
Yeah, this just keeps us staying aggressive, and I think that's good.
And they also can't trade for the Predator because it's only got 2 damage marked on it. I'm going to leave up our opponent's Exile Zone on the off chance that... Oh, no, we cut the only processor in our deck, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay, then I do not care what they have exiled.
And this would be our opponent deciding if they want to take 7
They are taking 7. They must really want that Scion. That is interesting. So they've got 3 colors currently, and they are just passing the turn back. That's a little worrisome. We drew a Bane of Balagad, so in 2 more land drops, that'll be exciting.
So we're dropping our mountain here.
Yep.
Are we destroying the land here? Or are we just playing a 4/4?
I kind of like playing the 4/4, just to be even more aggressive. I don't know what they could have here. Maybe some counterspell. I think we play the land and swing first. And
okay, and see what happens.
And then see what happens.
That's fair.
I'm very curious. I think our opponent has something big that they are planning, and I do kind of like killing the Prairie Stream as well. That could be a very real possibility. If they don't, so they've let us attack. If they again don't block with the Scion, okay, they blocked with the Scion this time.
If they're blocking with the Scion and not doing anything to
actually trade for the Predator, okay, they are. Infused with the elements. So they've now made their
a 4 or 5/5.
All right. So pre-combat killing a land would have worked, but I still think this was the correct play. Them having a 5/5 is a problem. I believe we play the Giant now, then, to try and force through the last 7 damage. I definitely wish I'd kill that land now. You're correct. Well, they played a Territorial Baloth, so our 4/4 Menace isn't doing a whole hell of a lot of good. Again, Reclaiming Vines only hits artifacts, enchantments, or lands. So we're just going to try and go wide?
I guess. I mean,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, we.
Yeah, I mean they can attack, so I guess just playing that out and hopefully drawing a land next turn. Drawing a land next turn would be really nice.
Yeah.
Or if our opponent just keeps snap playing, yeah, that's a problem.
Well, they did cast this. I mean, it's a sorcery. So our opponent's just drawn 4 cards. They will discard 2. So they will have 6 cards in hand and probably be triggering landfall. If they mess up and like attack with the Baloth, then they're dead. So that'd be fun. Well, we'd have to draw a land for that to work. Oh, it's Evolving Wilds, and they are casting Clutch of Currents. They are bouncing our Shatterskull Giant back to our hand. This means they're pretty much assuredly attacking with the Baloth, I would think. Yeah, and they may even crack the Evolving Wilds just to hit for the full 8. So this play means that they would have been dead if they hadn't bounced the Shatterskull Recruit, but of course they're playing that tempo, which is smart.
Do we have... Okay, so...
Another Slide Runner. Very close to just killing them. How relevant is it to kill land at this point? I think we missed the window. I think I should have listened to you guys.
All right, so I mean, I guess the play here is just the 4/4 again.
Yeah, I think you're right. Unfortunately, 4 cards in our opponent's hand. Hello, computer? There we go. Four cards in our opponent's hand with a whole lot of mana. Valakut Invoker.
That's a problem.
That'll get pretty scary fairly quick. I think we have to take this again. They're attacking with the Territorial Baloth once more. Would definitely like a land here. Stone Fury's good. We get to deal 5 to something.
Don't we just...
Wait, do we win then?
We don't win, but...
Well, we kill the Scion, Kraken with the...
Giant.
Take them to 1.
And
then die on the crackback.
No, we take them to 3 if we attack with just the Giant.
Yeah.
That makes their attacks next turn very bad, though. So
unfortunately, they have 7 mana.
Yeah, I mean, if they...
So they actually can... they just need to hit a land and they can activate the Invoker.
Or they can crack the Scion.
Well, they can't do it now because they would need 8 mana
No,
total.
but they
theoretically could.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the world where we kill the Scion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we live in the world where we kill the Scion here.
Yeah, kill the Scion, hit with a giant,
and then
hope that means they can't attack with the Baloth, and
Yeah.
then they just start picking away our creatures. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's an instant. That is an instant.
Oh, God.
Wait, do they have another one? Oh, Spell Shrivel. Okay. Well,
Okay.
we just had our Stone Fury countered, so we can't actually do anything. So the reason I was sort of cursing myself that was an instant was what we could have done is attacked, sort of forced them into a double block, then Stone Furied the Scion, such that we would get to kill the Invoker basically for free. But unfortunately,
yeah, we got to make some blocks here.
didn't really work out. So, yeah, we can't take either of these because if we do, the Invoker just kills us.
Yep.
So I guess we trade 4/4s
Yes.
and hope they don't have instant speed landfall, which they almost assuredly do, and chump block the 5/5. So neither of these worlds is fantastic. I guess we block. Do we want the guy with trample or the one that has one more toughness?
Probably the one more toughness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think trample is super relevant at this point.
So I'm expecting a natural connection? No. All right. 4/4s have traded. Our opponent now still has a 5/5 Scion, the 2/3 Valakut Invoker, and we have a Snapping Gnarlid. And they are playing a Ruin Processor, thereby ruining the rest of the game for us.
Yeah, basically.
So they get a 7/8, and they get to process our Stone Fury that they exiled by countering it, so they gain 5 life. So our opponent now has a 7/8, a 2/3, a 5/5, and they are back up at 12 life. and
we now weep.
We can't kill anything.
Kill one of the lands and concede.
Just out of spite.
Out of spite, destroy a land, and let's move on with our lives.
The Prairie Stream or the Cinderglade? Which is worth more?
Prairie Stream.
All right. Get out.
So, okay, that was an interesting game. To be honest, I'm maybe killing the land earlier. Our opponent just kept playing good cards and probably would have kept doing that.
Our opponent had a very good deck.
Even if we hadn't have or had have killed the Prairie Stream when we had the opportunity. So
yeah, I mean, this is where you talk about. This is where Marshall and Limited Resources talks about results oriented thinking. It's easy to look at what happened and be like, well, obviously we should have killed that land when we had a chance. I don't. Why is our opponent shatterpaused here? I don't know. I don't know if it was the correct play or not. It probably was. It almost definitely was. Maybe. I don't know. Almost definitely, I think, is maybe too strong. I don't know. I think it's a tough call. It's an interesting turn to talk about. But we're dead, so it doesn't really matter.
But we've learned a lot, mainly that 4-color is a real thing, and that we should be scared of it.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. We're about to go into the next round, but we'll just cut out the next minute and a half of waiting and continue talking during the next game. Okay, round 2. We find ourselves playing against a fan, actually, and we will play first.
And we will
keep.
We will keep.
We don't have any of our super aggressive landfall guys, but we do have a Nettle Drone, so that's exciting. Also, it's just a fine hand. We got both colors. We got 3 lands, 4 spells. We got a nice top endy scary thing. So yeah, this is sweet. I want to build a deck at some point in this format that just gets to go nuts with Nettle
Drones. Yeah, have 3 of them.
Well, like Ian's pre-release deck, right? Was he had 3 Nettle Drones.
Madness.
Oh yeah, he was doing extra disgusting stuff. Opponent plays a Mist Intruder, so they're going to be ingesting a lot of our stuff. Where were you? I think I still go with the Nettle Drone. Or do I?
It's just the worst feeling drawing the 2-drop on 3 when you have a 3-drop to cast.
Yeah. Especially since next turn I want to cast the Gnarlid and not the Void Attendant to untap the Nettle Drone, but we'll see what happens. Is it just dying?
Opponent's on blue, black, red.
Oh.
Holy moly.
Herald of Kozilek to make all the colorless spells cheaper.
Our opponent is living the dream here.
Running the full Grixis. And they ingest our Stone Fury.
No.
These are our exiled cards.
Okay, so
we could attack and try to goad him into blocking.
I kind of like that, to be honest.
It's kind of cool. Or we could just play the Snapping Gnarlid and keep up maybe Swell of Growth for hilarious blocks.
We're not playing Void Attendant instead of Snapping Gnarlid?
Like, it's better to get Gnarlid down faster.
Yeah,
right?
I guess that's true. Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, we could still Swell of Growth if we wanted to. Right?
Like, we can swing in with the Nettle Drone, threaten Swell of Growth.
Yeah, I guess that's still
follow
fine.
it up with Gnarlid, even if we swell.
Yeah. Actually, if we Swell of Growth, we can play 2 lands this turn and play Void Attendant.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
All right, heck with it. Let's try and do some silly stuff.
Let's get value. I mean, they don't block this, right?
I don't think so. Okay.
Yeah.
That also works.
I just assume they wouldn't block it anyway, so.
All right, so I'm just going to play Gnarlid here. Next turn we get to...
I mean, we still
play
have
a land.
Swell of Growth here, right?
Yeah.
Like, we could still block and swell.
Sure is swell.
Sure is swole. More like Swole of Growth. Hooray, first nickname done. Moving on.
Also, if we do end up in that position, then we'll have 5 land, and if we could draw a 6, we get to play our Green Warden on turn 5.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Which would not be nothing. Oh. Transgress the Mind.
What does that card do again?
Target player reveals his or her hand. You choose a card from it with converted mana cost 3 or greater, and exile that card. So there goes our Green Warden.
Man,
wow, this seems pretty well positioned in this set.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially since they only paid 1 black for it.
Also means our Swole of Growth is no longer a trick.
No longer a surprise. Yeah. Goodbye, Green Warden. I will miss you. So many cards to process. Something I could have done with this, right? No, it's just when it dies, we can exile it. You're not going to do it again, are you? Oh, Sludge Crawler, okay. Okie dokie. A lot of ingesting coming our way. Attack with the Herald. Forget what you just saw.
All right.
So I realized we have been actually not explaining the board state as well as we were last round, because I sort of fell back into assuming everybody can see this. So we have a Nettle Drone and a Snapping Gnarlid, 2 forests and 2 mountains in play. And our opponent just ingested our Territorial Baloth. In our hand is a Forest, a Swell of Growth, and a Void Attendant. Our opponent has Island, Swamp, Mountain, Sludge Crawler, Herald of Kozilek, Mist Intruder.
And we drew a mountain, which isn't that great.
Not fantastic. All right. I'm going to do what we did last time.
Yep.
Because they know we have the Swell of Growth, so they're unlikely to block. Guess they could have Outnumber here. Okay, they're going to make their Sludge Crawler a 2/2. Are they going to double block something? Okay, so they blocked our 3/3 Gnarlid with their Herald of Kozilek, so they take no damage from that. And they blocked our Nettle Drone with their Sludge Crawler.
So we swell growth here and kill both their things.
Yes. That actually seems pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So we get to do that.
And we're going to get to untap Nettle Drone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put this land out, and then landfall happens. This was actually ideal for us. Goodness.
Yeah.
And then untap.
That worked out better than I could have thought.
Today is a good day.
All right.
And don't forget to ping our opponents.
Ping at end of turn, yeah.
Yep.
Message from our opponent here. Ouch, lol. Yeah.
We got swole. We got swole, friend.
Oh, Mist Intruder coming in.
That is an aggressive attack.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, like, well, it blocks the Nettle Drone just fine, so.
They probably have processors to do horrible things with our exiled cards.
It's very likely.
Another message from our opponent here. Lol. Lol indeed.
All right.
It's always nice to have a fun game of Magic. It's pre-release. They hit us, and they have exiled a Belligerent Whiptail. Boy, they sure are hitting spells. So far, they've hit Stone Fury, Baloth, and Whiptail. And then they cast nothing and pass the turn. And I almost forgot to ping.
Well.
Okay.
And we hit a land.
Well, that triggers landfall.
I guess that's what we do. I mean, they have
I
three
think we're
cards
looking
in
into a
hand.
brutal expulsion here.
I could see that.
I mean...
But what do you do?
Yeah,
right?
I think you just play the land and swing. I'm sure there's a bunch of cards that they could have. Let's find out together. Because right now this is 8.
Our opponent is at 16. We are at 17.
Oh,
and they are taking
all
8.
We have no follow-up, I mean...
Well, we have no cards in hand. Our opponent has 4 cards in hand.
5 lands.
And 5 lands. So they've missed one or 2 land because we are at 7 mana.
Yeah.
So we can cast our Bane of Bala Ged, hint, if we draw it, hint.
Yeah, there's nothing in our deck that we can't cast right now, which is pretty nice.
Unfortunately, our opponent doesn't have anything in exile, so we can't use our Void Attendant.
Right.
I'd like a Ruthless Aggression to get rid of that Mist Intruder.
Played another island.
Sorry, an Unnatural Aggression.
Yeah. Currently...
Ruthless Aggression is a different card, I believe. I assume. I'm just guessing. So our opponent's on their 6th land now. They're tapping both islands and both mountains. Oh, there's that Brutal Expulsion we talked about.
There we go. So what is it doing?
Good call, Cam. So it's dealing 2 damage to our Nettle Drone, and it is bouncing our Snapping Gnarlid.
Sad days.
And they're leaving the double black up. That is interesting.
So...
Very curious. I don't know what they could have for double black. Hey, Mist Intruder getting in here makes sense. Hey, maybe hit a land this time. Nope, another hit another Snapping Gnarlid. Oh, well, there's that Bane of Bala again.
Well, just...
All right.
I don't think they can counter off two black. So.
No. If there's a black counterspell in this game now, I'm going to just quit.
Fair.
That feels wrong.
Surprise.
And it lands. All right. We have a 7/5.
We have a 7/5 that when it attacks, our opponent must exile 2 of the permanents they have.
Ooh,
They've just played a forest.
Okay, clearly...
And their Windmill Slam playing a 7-drop.
Did we just not get the memo that you're supposed to draft 4 colors? Oh, that's bigger.
There's the Ruin Processor. It sure is, actually. That's very annoying. So the Ruin Processor, which of course gets to process something, and they're going to put what from our exile zone into our graveyard. Not that we have any way to get it back from the graveyard. Actually, the only way to get stuff back was the Green Warden of Mirasa. So Stone Fury goes in the bin.
Deary
if we draw one of our outnumbers, we could
trade.
We could trade, yeah, or just a mountain.
Draw a mountain. All right, play out Gnarlid Pass.
That's disappointing that we can't attack with the Bane of Bala Ged.
Yeah.
But, boy, does opponent sure have a 7/8. I'm holding the land, obviously, because we don't need it.
No, and it triggers landfall for sure next turn.
Mm-hmm.
And just opponent... What? Everybody we've played today just snap plays stuff in their main phase, and it scares me. Oh, dear.
Wavewing Elemental is a 3/4 flyer, and the landfall is it gets +2/+2.
That is going to...
It's going to run away with this game pretty quick.
Yeah.
Mist Intruder coming in again. Mist Intruder has done every bit of damage to us this game, which is 6, by the way.
Yep.
Ingests a McKindy Slide Runner.
That's fine.
Really would be nice if they would start ingesting land.
Yeah, although I'm okay with them taking that 2-drop. That does almost nothing on this board.
Dang it.
And there goes our...
They cast Bone Splinters, sacrificing their Mist Intruder to kill our Bane of Balaged.
All right.
So I actually don't know how we get back in this game now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After that wonderful turn earlier, we're in a real bad spot.
From Beyond is...
Do we have targets for this? I don't think we have any more.
No,
I don't think we have any more
don't.
targets for From Beyond to actually go and get.
No.
I can check. Pardon our mess while I switch screens here. So the From Beyond, when I say targets, remember that From Beyond has this ability that you can sacrifice it and go searching your deck for an Eldrazi and put it into your hand. And I feel like the Bane of Balaged is the scariest Eldrazi we have. In fact, Nettle Drone, Void Attendant, and Bane of Balaged are the only Eldrazi in the deck. So
no.
we have no targets. Our plan now, I guess, is just survive.
Yeah, I mean, our opponent has no cards in hand.
True.
Eventually, we will make 18 Scions.
And be able to kill them in one go.
Eventually, we will. That is true.
Oh,
okay.
Windmill Slam a land, so they're going to hit us for 5 in the air. So we're dead in 3 turns to lands. So if our opponent draws land, that is bad for us, and if our opponent draws spells, that is bad for us. What a world we live in.
I see trees of green.
Last game, not this set. I had a deck. Oh, so last event, our opponent is telling us they had a deck where they drew Ulamog. It is a fun card.
Sure is.
It's fun when you control it.
Yeah. All right. Can we draw a good card here? I mean, hooray, we get a 1/1. Okay.
Going wide. We might be able to just surprise our opponent, you know. Currently with landfall, we're hitting for 6. But they hit a spell. Dominator Drone, so we lose 2 life. So Dominator Drone is 2 and a black for 3/2 with Devoid and Ingest, and when it enters the battlefield, if they control another colorless creature, which our opponent sure does,
we lose 2 life.
Then we lose 2 life. So, then they're attacking with the Wavewing Elemental. We're going to 4, so we're definitely dead to a land next turn if our opponent draws that.
Okay. We definitely have cards here.
Mm-hmm.
That's not one of them.
No.
Well, I mean, like just the 1 mana
Outnumbered.
deal that outnumbered would kill the 3/4 flyer at least.
That's true.
And then we're staying alive. So basically, we just need to play a land here, pass, and hope they don't draw land, and then hope we draw the outnumber, of which there are 2 in our deck.
Mm-hmm. Do we need to play the land this turn?
I guess we don't need to, but
I'll hold it. I don't know if it matters, but so our opponent has to not play a land, which they immediately did.
Which means
so we're dead.
Okay, we're dead.
Interesting. How curious. Okay. Wow, we were drawing a whole lot of land.
Yep.
Mountain, forest, yeah. Okay.
Our next several draws were land, a card that lets us go looking for land, and then outnumber. Goodness me.
Is there anything...
What I'm getting here is that this format is slower.
I could see bringing in Plummet. It's just another card to kill that.
So I think we're going to bring in Plummet, and I do like having the Bane of Balaged.
Yeah.
I don't know what we cut.
I mean, the Plummet might not actually be good enough here. Like, I like the Plummet against a mono Flyers deck,
yeah,
and that's just not what our opponent's playing. So I think.
How about this big 8/9?
Yeah.
That's maybe not the worst. I mean, that might just be better than the 7-drop, right?
Bane of Mulligan's very powerful.
Yeah.
If we can get it out on a time when our opponent doesn't immediately untap and play a Ruin Processor.
I think we cut one of the higher drops then. Probably like Stone Fury, actually.
Really? That is just a kill spell.
Or, sorry, not Stone Fury.
You mean the Shadow Skull Recruit?
Yeah, that's what I meant, sorry.
Okay. I like this. Let's do that. So we brought in our 8/9 Trample Eldrazi and taken out the 4/4 with Menace. So our opening hand this game, this is close, but it might be a mulligan. I don't know.
I think it's...
So it's 3 mountains, the From Beyond, which builds us up for the late game, but we don't have the forest to cast it. A Swell of Growth, a Natural Connection, which we also don't have the forest to cast.
Yeah, no.
And the Turn Against.
I think we need to be coming out hard and curving out.
This is a complete... I think this is mulligan. There's 3 dead cards in our hands, so...
Right. And now we have
a 6 card hand with no land, so it doesn't even matter. We don't even need to tell you what's in our hands because there's no universe in which we keep this.
Our opponent also mulligans to 6.
Okay. Yes. It's not great, but there's a creature that we can cast on 3, and we get the Scry here, and we're on the draw. And I don't think going to 4 is even... Yeah, we want that.
Oh, right, and we get a Scry, and the Scry is a forest, which we're going to keep on the top.
Yeah. So I think this is actually okay.
So far,
it's not good, but...
my experience in battle...
If we drew a forest, that 7-card hand had potential, but only potential.
What were you saying, Cam?
Do I just play the Spires?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Cam.
My experience in Battle Limited is that aggressive decks can and do work. They are very fragile.
That's what I'm discovering right now.
Like, you can go 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, and just run into, like, a 7/8 or an 8/9.
There goes our opponent with the Mist Intruder.
Like, I've made some, what I felt were very good aggressive decks in this format.
So we hit our land there, and so we're casting Valakut Invoker on turn 3, and our opponent's cast the Mist Intruder. I'm sorry, Cam, keep going. This is good.
And they are not consistent.
Well,
I think like the lack of good aggressive 1-drops. Like
I don't think you need... I mean, our big problem right now is that I don't think we're playing an aggressive deck.
I would have liked to have done that.
I think we're playing like just sort of right at the cusp of an aggressive deck. Like, I think we have way too much on the high end to really be considered an aggressive deck.
You could be right. Like we have a lot of very, very aggressive cards, and then 3 5s, a 6, and a 7.
Yeah.
So we played our Broodhunter Worm out. So we have our Valakut Invoker, a 4th land, and our Broodhunter Worm. Passed it back to our opponent, and they cast Rush of Ice on the Broodhunter Worm, which taps the creature, and it doesn't untap during the controller's next untap step, which says to me they don't have a way to block it. And they've ingested an Unnatural Aggression and a Forest. So we drew a forest. We now have 5 lands. We have an outnumber, and we still have 2 creatures. We can kill that Mist Intruder, which we're probably going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play this forest, because if we draw another land next turn, we get to play the Green Warden of Mirasa, assuming our opponent doesn't transgress the mind. And I honestly kind of like our position, even though our opponent has 4 cards in hand and 5 land, and are tapping them all to cast... Nope, they're untapping.
No. Okay, better. Gonna do a post-combat. Gotcha.
Nope, they're doing it differently now. They are transgressing the mind. Wow.
Sir.
All right, we're never going to get to cast that card.
Gonna have to ask you to settle down.
I mean, they basically know the Mist Intruder is dying now. Which is to say, it's dying right now.
Shut it down.
Oh, Snapping Gnarlid's a nice little draw. So we've hit our opponent for 6. They're now at 10. So the board's the board state currently is we have 5 land, a Valakut Invoker, a Brood Hunter Worm, and a Snapping Gnarlid, and our opponent has 5 land.
It's probably safe to attack into this, right?
Like that's what's so scary about this, is they have 4 cards in hand, 5 land, and they're humming and hawing about what to do. So they just cast Grave Birthing, which we exile a card from our graveyard, and they get a 1/1, and they get to draw a card. So I guess we'll pick the only card in our graveyard. So our outnumber gets exiled, they get a 1/1 Scion, and they have 2 green up, which could be a Swell of Growth, but we can't really afford not to attack into it.
Yeah, you absolutely just attack here. And we just drew a From Beyond, so we'll follow it up with a From Beyond and start pooping out little dudes and feel good about it.
And they take
it all?
They take it all and
what
go
is
2.
That? Oh, I'm scared now.
I'm very suspicious. I guess they need that Scion, presumably to cast Ruin Processor this turn.
But even that doesn't...
It puts them back up to 7. They have a 7/8. It's hard for us to get through.
The old tap, concede.
Tap, concede. Appropriate.
I think they're probably trying to rip a mountain.
Drawing nothing but gas there. All right.
This is the first time that we've ever had an opponent who has been able to tap, concede on tap, concede.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Congratulations to the opponent.
Yeah, that's a good job. All right.
I'm going to run it back as it was. So, round 2, game 3. Here's the hand that we've drawn. Green Ward of Mirasa, Stone Fury, Outnumber, Bane of Bala Ged, Brood Hunter Worm, and 2 lands.
Yeah,
so it's not aggressive. You're quite right. You draw a hand like this, and this is not aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't think this is worth throwing back, unfortunately. What do you think?
Well, we're on the draw here. We could rip our 2 drops.
Yep, I think you just keep it, but
I mean,
I'm not excited by this hand.
Like
but...
we can try and mulligan into something more aggressive. I'm open to the idea. What do you think? Mulligan decisions, by the way, are the worst.
I feel like it's 50-50 with this deck and our opponent's deck. Like, if our opponent stumbles, then this hand can be really good. But if they don't and we do, like, it's just the problem is that this kind of hand, it is just so easy to stumble, right?
For it to do nothing.
Because we can either draw nothing but lands, which is great. It gets us to our late drops quicker, but in the meantime, we're doing nothing. Or we just draw nothing but our low drops, never draw land, and with hands like this, you need basically the perfect kind of draw to be able to stay in the game.
So you think it's worthwhile to give mulliganing a shot?
I think so, because I'm just
All right. Oof.
Son of a...
So we've mulliganed into Territorial Baloth, Natural Connection, Swell of Growth, and 3 mountains.
Well, we mulliganed to 5 last game, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we sure won that.
And we're mulliganing to 5 again.
We can do it.
So this has potential.
Yeah. This is fun.
We're going to keep this. This is... I'm going to keep that Swell of Growth on top.
Yeah, I like that.
So this hand now is Snapping Gnarlid, Mountain, Forest, Looming Spires. And of course, our opponent has a turn 1 creature. So, yeah. The world we're ending up in here is basically this Snapping Gnarlid has to live. I hope our opponent just pumps Sludge Crawler this turn. The Sludge Crawler, by the way, it's the 1/1 for a single black mana, and they are pumping it with Devoid and Ingest, and for 2 mana you can give it +1/+1. So they're hitting us for 2. They're ingesting. They're hitting a Brood Hunter Worm, which would have been fine to draw, but here we are. Okay, that's pretty sweet. We've drawn an Unnatural Aggression. So next turn we get to play a Mountain, trigger landfall, and get Unnatural Aggression. Or we can play Looming Spires and Swell of Growth. Depends on what our opponent does this turn.
One time, no transgress the mind.
Okay, so Rush of Ice is a big problem for us because that taps our Snapping Gnarlid down, which is basically the only thing we have going on.
Well, I mean, next turn we can Unnatural Aggression.
We can still do
not
that.
Developing their board, though, which is good for us.
Yep.
Gives us a lot of time to to build our presence back up. So
They've ingested the Stone Fury, which would have been nice.
we drew a land.
So you think we still just kill this?
Probably, although we can do it at instant speed, so, right?
Yeah, maybe we wait for our opponent to put
In
yet
response
more
to the
mana.
pump? Yeah, I
into
guess
it.
so. So do I play a land then still?
Yeah, I would think so.
you definitely need to keep playing land.
Maybe we will finally get to process something from our other Eldrazi.
Pump, pump, pump it up. Excellent.
And in response, I kill you.
Yep.
Hello? There we go. It was just taking a second. Delightful.
Ooh.
We have a real shot here. All right,
Okay.
I'm going to play Looming Spires.
Yep.
Crack in for a bunch. Well, for 4.
And play out our Nettle Drone.
Yep. And then next turn we'll have Swell of Growth up, which could be very good. Noggin sent a message. Should have saw something like that coming. Well, not necessarily.
Life totals are tied. And we have a... Yeah.
Both players are at 16. Or they will be when this combat step is over.
Hopefully.
So hopefully we're in a position where next turn they either don't have anything or in some way we can just get in with the Nettle Drone for a bunch of damage. Our entire hand is Swell of Growth and a mountain. It looks like our opponent is still missing their land. They have a swamp and 2 islands, which they tapped and untapped, and they're debating casting something. They're tapping a blue.
Another blue. Nope.
No.
Undo.
Rush of Ice. All right, so they're tapping down our Snapping Gnarlid for another turn. Given that... so we just drew Eldrazi Devastator, which is entertaining. Because I was going to hold the land, but now getting to 8 seems like something we want to try.
I mean...
I'm attacking with the Nettle Drone.
Mm-hmm.
By the way.
To be honest, I don't actually know if... I mean, I don't think our plan is get to 8 at this point.
It probably isn't.
Our plan is just kill our opponent quickly because they're
I think
not
I'm
doing
So I'm going to hold
anything.
this land then.
Yeah, I think you just hold the land to assure landfall next turn.
Okay, our opponents hit their 4th land. They now have 2 swamps and 2 islands. They're at 13, and they are snap playing something for 4 mana. Ulamog's Nullifier. So this is the 2/3 flash flyer. When it enters the battlefield, they get to counter something if they process 2 cards, but they just want to get it down as a blocker. That is A-okay for us.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and
You just play a land and attack.
play a land, trigger landfall. So I have a 3/3 Gnarlid and a 3/1 Nettle Drone. And I'm going to attack with both, and if they block, I will be using Swell of Growth. Our opponent did indeed forget that Ulamog's Nullifier had flash.
Mm-hmm.
We still would have been making this attack, though. Probably. So I think... Yeah, we just attack with both, right?
Yeah.
Attack with both. Yeah.
Just trying to keep our opponent as much on the back foot as we possibly can.
Was this a multi 5?
Yes.
Yep. Get swole.
So Nettle Drone gets swole. And we do put the land into play?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. All right, so our opponent is at 9, but they could very easily stabilize. Oh, but they are passing their turn very quickly. Oh, no, they almost passed their turn. In their second main phase, they are playing a Silent Skimmer. That is a 0/4 flyer that whenever it attacks, the defending player loses 2 life. It's a pretty sweet card.
That is a fun card to draw
That is what
here.
we wanted to see.
Yeah.
We just drew From Beyond.
So it's just attack again.
I will attack with the Gnarlid and the Nettle Drone.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be fun because I get to attack with these both. The Silent Skimmer has 0 power, so we can't kill either of them, meaning they get to prevent 3 damage from the Nettle Drone. But
Still
our
go to 7
Gnarlid gets through for 2. Then we play From Beyond.
Untapping.
Which untaps the Nettle Drone. And then next turn, we will have 7 mana.
Yeah, we're not quite at 8 mana yet.
But if we draw a land, if we rip a land, we get to play Eldrazi Devastator next turn. So our opponents just played Incubator Drone, which is a 2/3 for 4 that comes with a Scion. So they're in a much better position to start blocking the Nettle Drone. So that's pretty good. But they're at 7, and we do have the Nettle Drone.
Remember to...
and they're attacking with the Silent Skimmer.
That's a
Bold move, Cotton.
Yeah.
So we go to 14. And end of their turn, we will make sure to ping them with Nettle Drone. All right. So upkeep, we get a 1/1 Scion from the From Beyond, and we did rip Bane of Bala Ged.
Well, I like that too.
So we'll probably play that.
Yeah. Do we have any attacks here?
I don't think so, because he could just block the Scion on the Nettle Drone. So I think I just ping and play the Bane.
Yep. I think that is the correct play.
So we will ping.
And then next turn we know we can cash out our 2 Scions.
How bad does the main phase ping with Nettle Drone feel?
Yeah, well, you just know something's
coming.
Yeah.
It's not the best feeling. Let's put it that way. So our opponent could probably still pull themselves out of this. They have 5 mana. If they hit a land, they'll have access to a 6th. They're only on 2 of their colors. Honestly, Grip of Desolation, which we did see go around, that would put us back a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, although they're 2 mana off that?
Slowly dying to Nettle Drone. No. They only need 1 mana. They have an Eldrazi Scion.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They've got black, blue, Scion. But they're tapping a black and a blue and conceding a match.
And one more tap, concede.
Tap, concede. Fantastic. Well, we'll just roll this right through to round 3 then. See you in a moment. So like you said, we're learning a lot.
I hope you guys are learning a lot.
I sure feel
be
like I'm learning a lot.
You have to keep an aggressive hand.
If you're going to be
like
aggressive,
this.
you've got to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Not
we've only got
the most
the
aggressive, but it...
We've only got the 1 creature, but it can go.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what our opponent has going on. I feel like we haven't seen any... I was going to say, we haven't seen much white, and we certainly haven't seen any allies. So
yeah, there was that white deck going around.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to draw Valakut Predator and the land to cast it. There's the land to cast it. Our opponent has a stop on every step. So our hand, I'm sorry, we didn't actually describe it. Green Warden of Murasa, again in our opening hand. The From Beyond, the Natural Connection, which is the instant speed land, the Swell of Growth, again, the combat trick with the land, and a McKindy Slide Runner, who's going to have to really carry this hand for the next couple turns. And our opponent has gone Plains, Swamp, and passed. We definitely saw...
Could be up against the life gain deck here.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that going around very late, so it would have been very easy to pick up a lot of good cards for it.
More land for us. Another forest.
Well, we know we'll be able to cast From Beyond on curve.
Mm-hmm. Swell of Growth becoming quite dangerous.
Yeah, especially since McKindy Slide Runner has Trample. So there's a real opportunity to get in.
Just wreck something.
Yeah, to get in for like 5 out of nowhere.
While also killing something.
Yeah. Our opponent plays another
Slab Hammer.
Plays another Plains and casts Slab Hammer, which is an enchantment, 2 mana and 2 to equip artifact.
All together now. Slab Hammer.
Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may return a land you control to its owner's hand, and if you do, that creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn.
Ooh, that's
and we drew the Shatterskull Recruit, which will be a nice 5-drop. So I feel like, obviously we're going to hit landfall here, so we'll do that. I feel like we probably just pop off the Natural Connection.
Mm-hmm. Double landfall?
Just to help us ramp a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we have nothing else really to do with our mana, and we don't want to waste Swell of Growth.
Here it is.
So we'll go to the block. I don't think there's anything they can do for 1 white mana, so we'll just go for a land.
You mean Swords to Plowshares in this format?
We'll get them their forest, I suppose. So we hit for 4 with our slide runner. That's pretty great.
And means we know we can play our 5-drop next turn, which feels good. And we're just 1 land away from finally casting our big scary green guy.
Green Warden of Murasa. In before another Transgress the Mind.
Oh, no.
Please no.
So our opponent has played their 4th land. So they've got Plains, Swamp, and Slab Hammer.
Passing back.
Passing the turn.
So we are looking at what? The White
Smite the
enchantment?
Monstrous?
Smite? Yeah.
Who knows? Well,
There's
let's find
the
out.
instant speed O-ring.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. We're just going to play a land, hit with our slide runner.
I'm kind of okay if they instant speed O-ring our slide runner.
Yeah, I mean, little guy put in work.
So rather than play From Beyond here, I think I'm just going to go for the curve.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And they take the 3-2. I feel like this is a Smite the Monstrous. So, I don't know, maybe we play the Recruit and it just immediately gets killed.
I mean, if you want...
Better the Recruit than the Green Warden.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Especially considering Green Warden gets the
the
Recruit
recruit back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And end step. So we played a Shatterskull Recruit. End step,
Nope.
nothing happened. Our opponent did not cast any spells. That is surprising. I guess they kept a slow hand,
Yeah, opponent
assuming
might
that they'd
just
be able
have
to get
kept-
there.
Yeah.
So, which is not an unreasonable assumption, as we've discovered. But sometimes our deck is aggressive and is able to actually really go the distance. So currently our opponent's at 13, we're at 20. We have 5 lands in play with a McKinsey Slide Runner and the Shatterskull Recruit. It's the 4/4 with Menace. And our opponent has 4 lands and a Slab Hammer, which seems like something they're not going to want to use if they're already a little behind on land. So they just played a Mortuary Mire, which is the tapped swamp that when it enters the battlefield, you can put a creature from your graveyard on top of your library.
And just passes it
But
back
of course, they don't have a
again.
target for that. So, okay, well, we're going to play this forest, trigger landfall on the slide runner, and try and hit for 7. And see how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
And that is successful. So our opponent is... Oh, no, wait.
No, there's a stop.
There is still the priority. All right,
No,
so our opponent's
okay.
now at 6. And yeah, does it get any card or just a creature? Target card. So I guess we're just getting back Natural Connection.
Yeah, because I really just want to cast that guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Green Warden of Murasa,
I want to feel good about myself.
get out there, friend.
In before Mana Tithe.
You've got beats to administer. The other option, of course, would have just been to play... What? Yes. The other option, of course, would have been to just play From Beyond and keep up Swell of Growth for some reason. Because with Swell, either of these creatures is lethal and we have the Unnatural Aggression, so... I don't know. So our opponent just played a Blighted Cataract, which they can't activate because they don't have the blue for it. So maybe they're off blue. Oh, fascinating. So our opponent drew a Felidar Sovereign, which is a 4/6 with Vigilance and Lifelink. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game.
Dear God. Can we just get the
Interesting.
kill card?
Well, luckily, we can just...
Kill it
I mean,
with
we can
the,
fight it, and he'll gain some life. Like, he'll gain 4 life and go to 10, but then we'll crack in for lethal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we cast Swell of Growth on the Green Warden, it becomes a 7/6.
Yep, that is the correct thing to do.
And then we fight, and then we have lethal on board.
Yep.
So
do it to it.
Swell. Make this guy real big.
Get swole.
I guess we could have done all of this at instant speed, but
Well, opponent's tapped out.
look at your own hand. Okay.
What?
It's because it's letting us put a land in, but we don't have a
right,
land.
yeah.
So our opponent does gain 4 life off that because off of the fight because the Felidar Sovereign has lifelink. But we have...
That card used to be a mythic.
Did it really?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh.
It
We
was
have
In World Wake, I think.
Yeah, in
Or
World
was
Wake.
it
No,
Zendikar?
it was World Wake, I believe.
Okay.
13 power on the board, so take our opponent to -3.
Hooray!
So our opponent definitely stumbled there. Seems like we are facing the life gain deck.
really think we have...
I kind of like our hand. I don't know enough about the life gain deck to know if they have a lot of targets for Boiling Earth, like X1 creatures that we could kill with that. So,
yeah, I think we just run it back.
I'll just run it back. This already has the feeling of a very different kind of format than we're used to recently. So this hand that we started with is 3 mountains, a McKindy Slide Runner, all-star, a natural connection, an unnatural aggression, and a turn against. So we got 2 green cards, no green mana. Honestly, I think it's keepable.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. So we're just going to try to ruthlessly aggress our opponent. So there's an island is the first thing our opponent cast. And we drew a forest, so everything's great.
Good for us.
Never didn't have it. So our opponent cast an island. When they played Blighted Cataract last game, I noted that it had a blue activated ability, which they couldn't pay for. So I assumed they were off that mana, which is unfortunate for them. But that also means that we're the only deck we've seen today that is only 2 colors. So that's something to keep in mind. Of course, we can't all be like the first guy and open a bajillion dual lands, or 3. So we've just drawn 2 forests, which
that we saw.
Kind of hilarious. That's true. He could have more. So we have a forest and a mountain. We played our McKinney Slide Runner. Our opponent played a Shrine of the Forsaken Gods foil, which is taps to add 1 colorless to your mana pool, or 2 colorless, but you can only use that 2 colorless to cast colorless spells, and you can only activate that ability if you already have 7 or more lands. So it's just sort of like getting you slightly over that hump. And then they played a Blighted Cataract and passed the turn back. So they only have blue mana currently.
Just more lands.
We've drawn another forest. So what we're going to do is play a land, hit with the Slide Runner, and play the Natural Connection again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
stop us if you've seen this before.
So play that. Yield to the landfall trigger. Go to combat. Our Natural Connection could go horribly awry. It could, but I
don't see
doubt that.
Yeah.
Well, natural horribly awry only hits creature spells, doesn't it?
Oh, right. Right. Good point. I guess we'll get a
mountain.
Know. Sure.
I don't think it matters.
Thin the deck.
Okay.
Well, we've already got 7 of the 17 land in our deck either in our hand or on the board.
Yeah.
We've got 4 land in play and 3 in our hand. So let's start drawing some spells. Our opponent just played a Plains, so now they have 2 colors. They've got Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, Blighted Cataract, Island, and Plains, and I'll be very curious to see what, if anything, they cast this turn.
They had black last game, though, right?
They did. They actually had one. They only had one swamp that we saw.
Right. It was mainly Plains that they had last time.
Mainly Plains, yeah. And they played that Felidar Sovereign on turn 6, which is oof.
All right. We're going to see a spell here.
Cryptic Cruiser is a 3/3 for 4 with Devoid, and put a card an opponent owns from exile into that player's graveyard and tap target creature. Sorry, putting opponent from exile, the processing is a cost. So 2 and a blue and process to tap a creature. So unfortunately, a 3/3 is kind of tough for our McKinney Slide Runner to live through. I'm not thrilled about it. I don't like the idea of this deck specifically, like being able to.
We could fight it twice.
Do we just hold on? Wait for the good old turn against a natural aggression turn 8 play?
Well, I think we don't stop playing land, but I don't think we can attack this turn, which is really unfortunate.
I mean, do we like that trade?
Not especially.
I don't like trading these guys off, also since we have no other creature. We've drawn our second unnatural aggression, so we can force the trade. We can just kill them. But that doesn't seem great. We can turn against and hit for 6.
That's not good.
But then we're in the same position next turn, so I think we just have to pass here, which is unfortunate. But having these unnatural aggressions in hand will be good if we start drawing any other creatures,
especially our big Eldrazi's.
Yeah, I don't think this Slide Runner is going to be able to carry this whole game. Slide Runner carried last game. I don't think Slide Runner can carry this game.
Slide Runner incapable of soloing an entire match.
Merely one game.
So things I've learned today so far have been, I think our deck wasn't greedy enough.
Apparently
Judging by everybody else we've played.
I didn't realize.
Doing
I didn't know,
multiple
James.
colors.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep that in mind for our next few drafts. I also really like our the 2/1 here a lot. This card is really sweet.
Slide Runner?
Yeah.
I actually really like most of the landfall creatures. I think they're quite strong.
Our opponent just passed the turn. No lands.
Didn't play a land. Didn't
no
play
attacks. Which, I mean, would have been a probably good attack there.
That's nice for us. We just hit a territorial Baloth.
It's good.
Yeah, so
let's play this Baloth. Hope it doesn't get countered. And next turn, we get to do a bunch of fun stuff.
are we're playing a land here?
I guess we're playing a land here, yeah. It feels like such a
I
waste.
think now we offer the trade.
With the Slide Runner?
Yeah.
But we can just kill this for free next turn with an unnatural aggression. My question is if we hold the land or not.
I mean, we already have another land, so we know we're triggering it. So I think we just keep playing out land. We have, 7 and 8 drops.
I like being able to chain, turn after turn of consistently triggering landfall.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, we have 7 and 8 drops that we, if we draw a 7 drop next turn, then we just play that, right?
True.
Probably. So.
And our opponent can't play anything bigger than a 5 drop this turn. They did hit their 5th land. They hit a Plains.
Could just be that their hand is full of a bunch of black cards, if they are indeed playing that much black. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in a 3-color deck and you have a Blighted Cataract and a Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, that's 2 land that aren't helping your mana base at all in terms of the spread of colors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to keep in mind with all these this whole cycle of uncommon
Blighted
lands.
Yeah,
the Blighted lands, which I think are sweet, variably. Like some are better than others. Is that if you're already in 3 colors and you're sort of grasping at straws to make the color fixing work, they are not helping you. So that is an Oracle of Dust our opponent just cast. It's a 3/5 Eldrazi processor, and you can pay 2 mana and process a card to draw a card and discard a card. And so now we have to figure out what our plan is. We drew a Valakut Invoker, which could be super fun later on.
Yep.
Actually, in only like a turn or two.
So do we just land fight the 3/5
Yes.
and just smash?
Yes.
Well, if we smash, they can trade their 3/3 for what will be our 6/6 because we'll have 3 damage marked on it.
I think then we just follow it up with an Invoker that can close out the game real quick.
I'm okay with fighting the Oracle and swinging with the Slide Runner, but I think having Territorial Baloth around, especially when we have another unnatural aggression in hand, is worth more than just trading it for a 3/3. Like having a theoretical 6/6 is better than just a 3/3 that isn't doing anything.
All right, go for it.
So yeah, let's do that. Let's landfall. I mean, we can also just attack, right? Well, no, because then he gives us an opportunity to block.
No,
so
it's definitely
all right. So we're just going to fight these here. We get to play our Invoker out after combat, of course. Offer the Slide Runner trade. And if there is such a trade, that makes the turn against even better.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Cam, we're getting close to your.
I wasn't joking.
I didn't think you were joking. The turn against fight your guy with your guy turn. So maybe we should have been being more aggressive with the Slide Runner, but I just feel like this guy has a lot more potential than trade for a random 3/3.
I mean,
it's getting through. So
does it though? I mean,
Well, it gets through this turn.
No. I mean, does it have that much more potential than trading just for a 3/3?
I think it does.
Right? Like, it's very rarely ever going to be anything more than a 3/2 itself, and very often it can just easily be a 2/1. Right?
I think the trample is relevant. I could be wrong.
Well, if they have a 3/3, it's not.
Apparently not. Yeah.
But I mean, if they're unable to play. Because if we draw a land next turn, we can do both?
Yes. Or we can just activate the Invoker also.
Yeah.
So it depends on what happens. So our opponent is playing an Incubator Drone, which is a little annoying. It's the 2/1 for 4, 2/1 for 3 and a blue that comes with a 1/1 Scion.
I really, really, really want to rip a land here.
Mm-hmm.
Turn against the cruiser, fight it with the Incubator Drone. Not that land, though.
Not quite. So we drew a Looming Spires.
But hey,
although that is pretty great because
Slide
we
Runner
can
gets in.
Give the Slide Runner trample and first strike.
Yeah.
We can also still have a natural aggression up.
Yep.
So what do we want to kill? I guess let's just play Looming Spires first. I think we can play on natural aggression in combat this time. If we want to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Looming Spires. That's a lot of triggers. Landfall, landfall. So Looming Spires on the
Slide Runner.
On the Slide Runner, yeah.
All right. So Looming Spires on the Slide Runner. So the Slide Runner is going to be a 4/3
First strike trample.
with first strike and trample. The Baloth will be a 6/6, and the Valakut Invoker will be a 2/3, which I think we can still attack with. He can block the Invoker with the Cryptic Cruiser, but then unless he puts the Cryptic Cruiser on the Invoker and double blocks the Baloth, then a natural aggression will be good by swinging out here. So. I think we're just going to go nuts. Our opponent has 1 white mana open. There is a 1 white mana combat trick. It is called Lithomancer's Touch, and I do not remember what it does.
I will look it up.
Thank you.
Although by the time I find it,
It may no longer be relevant.
They might have already cast it.
Yep. Who knows? Let's find out together.
What was it called?
Lithomancer's Touch. So it's possible, bearing that in mind, it's possible that attacking with Valakut Invoker here was not a good idea, considering that we know next turn we'll be able to have the reach to start doing gross stuff with it. But I feel pretty good about it. So they did indeed block the 3/3 there. And they're blocking there and blocking there. Okay. So what we're going to do is fight the Baloth with the Cryptic Cruiser here.
Focus.
Lithomancer's Focus. Pardon me.
Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to that creature this turn by colorless sources.
Okay.
So it would just be a +2/+2.
So I'm going to play a natural aggression with the Baloth on here because the Baloth trades with both of these and still lives. Then this lives and this kills that and goes through. And then we have a board and they do not.
Correct.
And then we can probably turn against next turn for the
win, yeah.
Depending on what they play.
Was it relevant?
Well, if Lithomancer's Focus would make our Baloth
Die.
All their creatures would still die. We would still have the Invoker and the McKindy Slide Runner.
Mm-hmm.
But our Baloth would die if Lithomancer's Focus ends up being a thing.
The old Shatterpaws.
I realize this is if you're not watching, this is literally just dead air right now.
We've been pretty good about it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, our opponent's definitely
Definitely thinking about this one.
thinking it through. Is this game 2?
Yes.
And we won game 1.
Right, because the McKinney Slide Runner went all the way.
Yeah. So I feel pretty good that this is going to be it. Pretty confident.
This is, by the way, this is basically our first Battle for Zendikar draft. Cam and I, as I said in the last episode of Tap Tap Conceit about the Community Cup, Cam and I managed to sneak one in on the production build computers at the Community Cup, but that was sort of all over the place, kind of fraught. The community team was trying to practice.
You also just have actually no idea what anything does at that point, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I remember we got to do that.
That was the day the set was spoiled.
Yeah, we got to do that the year before the Community Cup with cons.
Hey, look at that!
Hey, they had it.
They had it.
All right.
So indeed, our opponent has Lithmaster's Focus. Their cruiser becomes a 5/5. Their cruiser and Scion both trade for our Baloth. Their board is wiped, but we keep the Invoker and the McKinney Slide Runner, and they take 1 damage.
Well, no, because they Focus is targeting who?
It's targeting the Cryptic Cruiser. Prevent all damage to be dealt by colorless
Oh,
sources.
yeah.
The
Okay.
fight
still happens.
The fight is colorless, but the creature deals the damage.
Correct. Yep.
So we'll let that resolve, and then this resolves. And sad to lose the Baloth there, but that's fine. And then
go to
take
12.
one there, go to 12, and then this all resolves. We lose our Baloth. All right, so we'll have to see how our opponent manages to play this next turn, because when we untap, we get to just use our Invoker.
Ooh, it doesn't look like our opponent's doing
Doesn't look like
anything.
they're casting any spells, so this could be very good for us. We drew a mountain, which I guess we just play.
Yeah, because it triggers. Yep.
Because we get the little landfall there. And then this should be over
I mean, this is 9, right?
pretty quick. Is this not? Well, yeah. I mean,
It's
we'll
8.
pass the turn, and we'll see if we do this to their face or to a creature.
Almost assuredly their face, because it's like end of their turn, take them to 4,
Right,
beginning
and then
of
we
our
turn
turn.
against,
Yeah.
So let's see how this goes. Drowner of Hope. Oh no! It comes with 2 little dudes.
I don't think that matters.
Doesn't it?
We can steal it.
Yeah, but it comes with little guys for chump blocking.
But only 2, right? We'll have 3 creatures. Because we can also blow up one of the little creatures. But I'm pretty sure we, at the end of turn here, go to 4, pass back, turn against his 5/5, the 5/5, right? Mm-hmm. Swing, and they almost... Oh, I guess they're not quite dead?
No, they block here, and they block here, and they take
go
2.
to 1, and then we
They go to
untap
1, and then
and-
we untap, yeah. Don't forget to...
So you think we just dome them here?
I mean, I guess you could dome one of the Scions as well. Like, so
if
if
we
you
kill
die...
a Scion, then they still only take
Yeah, it's
4.
still
Yeah,
it's
I
the
guess we
same
just
math. I
go to
think
the-
we'll just do that.
go to the dome.
And it depends on what we draw here, too, so... A forest. Well, at least that triggers landfall.
Also, our opponent can tap a creature, so by sacking a Scion. So we'll see what happens when we get into the combat step, I think, because that could end up being interesting if they pop both Scions to tap our creatures.
Well, we
That's
want to
true.
turn against
Yeah.
now, right?
No.
No.
you turn-
Before
so
so we can swing with it.
you can do that in the begin combat step, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So that's why I'm like,
Okay.
if I go to combat and they let us attack, that surprises me. All right. I guess because they have a 5/5. So all right. Well, let me just pass. Like they have to kill the Invoker. Like they have to kill the Invoker.
Mm-hmm.
They one more land and they can activate this to cast a colorless spell. So this is going to be very interesting. So if we'd if we'd done 3 to one of the scions, and then stolen the Drowner, then an opponent would still be at 7, and we would have hit for, because they can block this Drowner with the Scion. We hit for 5, and then we still have to untap this turn to make sure that they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
So they are they drawing cards?
I mean, that would make sense. Digging for answers,
I guess. But it has to be an answer that they can cast right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
So our opponent just activated the Blighted Cataract, which costs
they
6
don't
mana
know
to
what
activate.
we have in hand.
No,
right?
but they know what we have on board, though.
We have a Valakut Invoker on board.
Yeah.
They have to kill it right now, or we do 3
they could
to
bounce
them,
it.
untap and do 3. They could bounce it, but we can still...
I mean, bouncing it and we win. It's not a big deal.
5, 6, 7, 8. That's true. We need one...
I assume this is the GG.
Any swamp, says our opponent with a sad face. I will respond with a sad face in kind. Because we've all been there.
Yep.
And so 3 to you. And then we untap. And we draw Stone Fury. And 3 to you. And that's the game. And so we ended up...
We are incapable of doing anything other than going 2-1.
It's true.
It is our curse, and I suppose... No, it's just a curse, let's be honest here.
It's kind of a gift.
It's
a weird gift.
It's a weird gift. It's 2 packs per draft winning gifts.
Yeah. We got a Green Warden and a From Beyond and everything. So that was fun.
Yeah.
I hope that you enjoyed that. As again, like I said, this is not what Tap Tap is becoming, but maybe this is something we would do once every set.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard for us to, sort of to do an episode that week when everyone's talking Battle for Zendikar and we want to talk about Battle for Zendikar when we haven't really played Battle for Zendikar.
Yeah.
And so we thought sort of walking you through a draft might be fun. If you like more of this, like literally this, we do videos every 2 weeks on MtGO Academy.
They're a little sillier.
Sillier, and it's just me and James. And we sort of, give ourselves weird stipulations and typically fail and go 2-1. Also, we stream, of course, but you probably know that on twitch.tv/LoadingReadyRun. But yeah, let us know what you thought, and hopefully
you liked it.
Hopefully you liked it.
Yeah.
If you are a listener and not a viewer, let me know on Twitter @Graham_LRR or just the @LoadingReadyRun. Let me know what you thought of that, and if we could do this better for you who are only listening, or if this is just something that is impractical for listeners. Until next time, Tap Tapping Seeds is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. And we value your support. So, bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.